Congratulations! If you're seeing this, it means you have been accepted to join the illustrious ranks of the Salamanders Space Marine chapter. Quite a noble calling, to say the least. The chapter of Master Crafters, those who wage war and destroy the enemies of mankind in cleansing flame, and also, conversely, reach out to humanity with a helping hand, hopefully while they've extinguished that flame safely in the other. The Salamanders have a very prestigious reputation for fighting some of the scariest enemies and coming out on top, and being the nicest Space Marines you can encounter, as they do just a lot of civilian relief effort, which makes joining them so prestigious. And to be fair, I don't want to disparage every other Space Marine chapter. Every other chapter either isn't going to help you, or do you want them to? Really? Are you gonna look at the Dark Angels for help? They got other things they're looking for. The Imperial Fists? They don't care. They're standing on their one plot of land that they're defending. But let's just get right into these burning questions you might have about the Salamanders. The important things like, what is that recruitment like? What's the gene seed gonna do? And what's that career path gonna look like? Which I'll answer all right here. Thank you to all my channel members for making these videos possible. And a special shout out to Christian Voorhees for subscribing at the highest level. This level of support truly helps the channel, so it is greatly appreciated. First and foremost, the recruitment. The recruitment starts purely on Nocturne, which is this place you gotta live if you're gonna be a salamander, where the aspirants are taken from the age of 6 and 7, and they're taken in as an apprentice to a salamander to work in the forge. They're all master crafter blacksmiths who maintain their own equipment and weapons, other than the fact that they are weeding out the possible aspirants to make sure everyone is actually strong enough to withstand all the trials in the gene seed. They need an extra hand in the forge. It's like genuinely helpful. As well, this is because the Salamanders have an extra special tie to their home. Compared to every other Space Marine chapter, recruitment of a Space Marine is basically death. The parents can watch their young child leave and know that they're never gonna see their kid again. They're gonna die out hundreds of years in the future, being murdered by some tyrannid or something. They're never gonna see the kid again. The kid's gonna take their name, just get rid of it, take a new cool Space Marine name. It's all over. Salamanders, though, a little different. They stay on Nocturne and, like, it's Moon Prometheus. They actually get things like military leave and get to go visit their families. They actually, like, have a relationship with their community. It's a lot more tight-knit there. Which, once an aspirant is then proven in the forge to actually be able to survive the entire ordeal of becoming a Space Marine, they are allowed to take part in the trials, which mimic some of the other Space Marine stuff we've seen, though unlike some other videos, I do not have as detailed rituals for their recruitments and their trials, sadly. So the ones we do know about are specifically 2 elements. First, they have to walk the Promethean waste, which is pretty similar to the one I talked about when it comes to Commander Dante, my Dante video, where the Blood Angels will actually walk the desert of Baal Secundus and just Baal, where that's how you get to your trial destination. Walk a desert and don't die. Honestly, it's a pretty common tactic. Space Marines use their recruitment worlds on pretty shitty planets that they come from. Nature itself will weed out the weak. It's kind of efficient. The other method is a bunch of trials that mimic the specific meeting of the Emperor and Vulcan. A lot of methods of kill a cool Drake, build a cool weapon, stuff like that. And specifically that element of kill a cool Drake, which is also known as a salamander, that's where they got their name from. A lot of these aspirants will wear the scales from the salamander they kill, and actually in the art you can see like a lot of them are still wearing those scales. All right, now that gene seed, you've passed through all of the recruitment trials, and now finally you can have the gene seed placed into you. What does it do? What effects can you determine? Well, a good many. So first and foremost, the Salamander's gene seed is actually very specifically one of the few gene seeds that actually alter a Space Marine's appearance. Now, this is my personal like white whale and my own little soapbox here, but I gotta say it, there's a misconception out and about that just in general, the Space Marine gene seeds will just make you look like your Primarch. That's untrue, completely untrue. There are 4 gene seeds that do this, the Luna Wolves and Sons of Horus, the Salamanders, the Raven Guard, and the Blood Angels. I swear to God, there are zero sources for anyone saying that the gene seed alters every single Space Marine's appearance. If you come in here and try to say that this is the case and that I'm wrong about this without an actual source, text evidence from the books, I'm going to lock the front door in the Sanctuary City during the time of trials. A threat that is quite serious that you, if you try to come in here and make that claim, wouldn't get because you very clearly haven't read the lore. But the Salamander's gene seed does alter your appearance in two specific ways. First, turns your skin jet black. Second thing it does, your eyes bright burning red. Now, while the skin color change is purely cosmetic and essentially it's just surface deep, the eyes are actually a little cooler. This is known as their fire sight, as salamanders basically can see infrared, but it's like very minor, and they use tech in their helmet to better differentiate between signals, which allows them to, detect heat, which is pretty helpful when all you do is use a giant ass flamethrower. But the other really cool thing they do is specifically they are able to use their own body heat and other elements of heat to make signs in the air to communicate with each other in battle or outside of battle, to leave signals of like, hey, I'm going right here. Let me write a quick little message in the air, and anyone else with firesight can walk around a building and be like, oh shit, my buddy is like a mile that way. I should go follow. The only other element that should be noted about the Salamander's gene seed, this is an element of both the gene seed and of Nocturne itself, because Nocturne is highly gravitationally dense. It's got like a lot higher gravity. The Salamanders have a little bit slower reaction time, just like a slightly slower compared to like the other Space Marines. And that's like probably like a quarter of a fraction of a second. That's minute to like a person. To a Space Marine, it's a little more significant. Well, now that you've been made a full Space Marine, what kind of war will you wage? What can you expect? I'll be really honest, it's dead simple, my man. You use fire, you use flame weapons, you use flamers, you use meltas, you use flame spears, you sometimes use big ass hammers. It's so simple. The other thing is Salamanders use a lot of Terminator stuff, so there's a pretty good career path. Get promoted to join a Terminator company. Probably got some good elements there. And as well, you operate under the ideals of the Promethean cult, which is the direct teachings of Vulcan himself, which are ideas of self-reliance and self-sacrifice, working to help others, but also making sure you don't rely on anybody else, which is the ideals that you, as a blacksmith, can create your own equipment. You don't need to call somebody to repair your own shit in the field. So all the stuff you see on the Salamanders is something that they fine-tuned to be perfectly for themselves. And then as well, just civilian relief, helping out the people of mankind wherever you can. Which again, I think is perpetually hilarious with the method of which you wage war, is with probably the most highly casualty-causing weapon possible. And the thing that just is the most uncontrollable. You're going in a city, you're torching it with a flamethrower, like it catches on fire, and you're like, damn, we gotta save everybody. The fire broke out. What could we do? How could we have stopped this? It's not fully like that, but the Salamanders are great. They're very fun. They're a favorite for a reason. I guess slightly out of the character I kind of play for these. I'll also say the books are middling, so apologies to anyone trying to get into reading the Salamander books. They've been given to one author and he won't let anyone else write them. But yeah, like that's it. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff. Join my membership, and see ya.